And we are live. Hey. Happy Thursday night, Comicsgate. What is going on? We had a bit of a technical snafu, as will happen, but we got everything squared away. Rob is back. That is the most important thing. Welcome back, Rob. It's good to see you. You were kind of on COVID's
death's door.
Yeah, the edge there.
I was curled up with a bucket in front of me, and if I start coughing, I would start gagging, and then I'd dry heave, and then the process would restart.
Oh God! Yuck! Oh, that sounds terrible.
There was the first couple of days, I was like, should I go to the hospital if I start seeing blood? That's the only thing I was thinking about, because I'm like, if I start bleeding out my throat or something because of all the
you're coughing up blood, yeah, that's usually a bad sign. But we got a few guys in the chat. Want to say hey to everybody in the chat. Every week you didn't stream, you lost the house.
I did, and ladies, man, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Don't think Rob wasn't thinking about that every second, like in his fevered stress dreams. He's like, Death Raider, like waking out of a cold sweat sleep. Death Raider, I need to be drying.
Mm-hmm.
And got Randy in the house. What's going on, Randy? We were making fun of gay Green Lantern earlier. Thanks, YouTube is unsubbing people. Oh God, I don't need YouTube unsubbing anybody for my list. I fought to get every one of those like 240 subscriptions. Oh, did they do a number on me? I haven't looked at my numbers. I thought, well, it might be just that I didn't have a lot of subscribers to begin with, Randy. We got SF Gaming. Hail the chat. Hail SF Gaming. What's going on, guys? Thank you guys for being here. I know we've been off the charts for about a month, but Rob kind of went through it. So
yeah,
I had COVID not this 4th of July, but the year before 4th of July. And I was sick for a week, but mine was more just like a really bad flu cold, like head cold. I was sick, but it was more all of the leftover hysteria that the news media had created. But I wasn't I've been more sick than that with the flu or with the really bad head cold than I was when I had COVID. So
first time with COVID last year. First time with COVID, it was like that. It was like it was a bad cold.
Yeah. And so this was your second time having COVID.
Second time with COVID, and this time was it was a lot worse. And dude, I filled myself up with all the medication I could get a hold of in the house.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh God, I love that. The NyQuil nighttime. It's like I can chug that NyQuil nighttime stuff.
Dude. Not only that, because I had a fever, and I had the aches. I'm like, wait, okay, so I'll be taking a leave. I had a super sore throat. I'm like, I got some Aleve in me. I got Tylenol in me. Wait a minute, I also have the daytime shit in me.
Oh yeah.
Like I was like, how much of this can I cross stream?
You're just pumped full of acetaminophen and ibuprofen, and then all the decongestants, and it's like when you start feeling good, but you're still sick, but you can like feel that medicine kick in. It's like, oh yeah. No, I like cranked my neck one time, literally, where like I couldn't move it, and I went and saw the doctor, and it was like, and he basically he told me, this is how much ibuprofen and how much acetaminophen you can take
before it makes you like sick.
Yeah, but like you could take quite a bit. You could take it like every 2 to 4 hours, and you could take both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
But what the thing is it would dull the pain. But what he wanted was, when it dulled the pain, he wanted me to move my neck to loosen it up. It wasn't curing anything. It was just dulling that stiffness and pain so that you could start working the neck back around again. So yeah, that was but yeah, you can take a lot of that. I was like taking like 4 pills of one, and 2 pills of the other, like every 2 to 4 hours. And I'm just like,
and you're trying to
I was
remember
eating
which
those
is
things
which.
like M&Ms.
You're like all confused. You just have a pile. You just handfuls of it.
Yeah. Okay. So ladies man, this is a valid question, but like literally, it's incentivized. There's a reason. Like if you want to read the comic, I've got the regular covers for $25. Like you can just get like a single cover. Now, the more in demand things are going to be more grouped together because I am trying to raise money for the project. And like it's not what like the buyer wants to hear. So I'm just being honest. I'm not trying to rip everybody off, but I am like it is incentivized for the higher tiers to have the variant covers, the nude covers. The bigger tiers are going to have more bonus stuff in there, and it's capitalism, man. I'm a capitalist. I'm trying to raise money so I can keep making these comics, and those bigger reward tiers, I give away more stuff to incentivize people to back those big tiers. I'm not trying to rip everybody off. That's why I've got like individual covers that everybody can buy for the lower price tier, and you're still going to get all the interior stuff, everything that's in the book. But like yeah, like it's crowdfunding. I'm trying to fund my next project with this project, fund all these books that I'm trying to draw. Like all the money that I'm making is going into making more books, going into letting me draw all this stuff, like giving me time to like spend all day like shipping these books out. Like this is it's awesome, but this is a full-time job every day of the week, on the weekends. I've got stuff stacked up in my drawing room here. So that is the reason why like some of the higher tiers have like the nude variants in it and stuff. But I try to create the tiers so like there's something for everybody depending on what level you're looking at.
If I can interject also,
Sure.
Like the variant cover or the nude cover, if it was on its own, it's only going to sell a certain amount because it's a niche cover.
Yeah.
So because I noticed that a couple of the covers that people requested for Death Raider that I did, I'm like, okay, cool, but that's it only sold like 65 covers. So, and it's not like if I just added up and had done one cover, it would have been a lot cheaper to print the one cover, one book than doing multiple covers, even though people asked for them and they were excited about them. Each book, it makes all the books more expensive because I'm not printing, 500 or 600 of the same book. I'm having to print 50 of this and 150 of this. So it does, giving people what they want also does raise the price.
Yeah. So. And like just as an example, like obviously my Superiors campaign was more just straightforward superhero, so there wasn't nude variants for that. Didn't make as much money. Like didn't do as well as my other campaigns did. So having those variant covers at the higher tiers grouping, like it does help with that. But looks
a
like
nude Titan. You should add a nude Titan.
Ladies man, got into it with the soy boy at the comic book shop today. I was gonna wear my Comicsgate T-shirt from EVS today, or last week. I was gonna wear it today, but I forgot. So yeah, I'll wear that next time. But yeah, I think a lot of people are getting their Comicsgate T-shirts and hats. So yeah, wear them proudly at your comic book shop. And if a soy boy steps up, I bet he's curled into a ball right now. That's awesome, ladies, man.
Yeah. Well, what's their defense when they complain about Comicsgate? Look at Marvel and DC. DC just fired more people.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
DC
we're gonna get into that.
So
I got a couple stories pulled up.
Books with those all diverse, all inclusive books. Yeah, comic book stores are fucking
well, but I gotta think Gay Green Lantern is gonna save the industry. I mean, and it not only is Gay Green Lantern gonna save the industry, but it's really gonna stick it to Comicsgate. I love that whoever this dipshit Tim Sheridan is, that he mentioned us by name. That was like the best thing he could have done. Let's own Comicsgate. It's like, dude, you don't own shit. And his whole sales pitch was like, oh, my queer friends, and it's like he's a gay superhero. Like, that was his whole pitch. Like, there are gay superheroes out there already.
Yeah.
Write a good story about one.
And they don't sell.
Yeah.
Hey, guess what? If gay characters that were done well, sold well, then I would have no problem doing a gay.
Well,
gay
this is what I always say.
If it was done well.
Yep. If you like, this is what I always say to these people that are like, "Oh, gay character, we're gonna turn Green Lantern gay, whatever." It's like North Star has always been gay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all he is. Like, North Star was like a well-developed character, and he was gay. It wasn't the whole point of his being a superhero. Like, North Star had like a fully developed character. John Byrne wrote the hell out of Alpha Flight. I love all the Alpha Flights. But then, to me, this is even a better example. And, like, to me, these characters are kick-ass. I love this book. Apollo and Midnighter.
Yeah.
Like, Apollo and Midnighter, really well. And the way they developed the Authority coming through. I think it started out in Stormwatch, was it? I know Brian Hitch was drawing it, and Warren Ellis was drawing it in another. I've got those issues, and then it became the Authority. But I've got those previous issues where, like, Apollo and Midnighter were on the run, and Apollo would have to, like, recharge his power levels from the sun, kind of. But like, those characters were like so kick-ass and so well written. And as you read it, you just realize, oh, like, these two guys are gay. Like, they're a couple. And but it did, like, that wasn't their whole thing. They were fully developed characters
first.
Yeah. Fully developed characters with like reasons for what they were doing, and they were like cool and badass, and they were like these alternate reality versions of Superman and Batman. But that's Warren Ellis. Like, Warren Ellis is like an actual talented writer that creates stuff that makes sense, has a reason, there's a beginning, middle, and end, there's a motivation for the character. He doesn't just come out and say, "Oh, these two characters are gay, so you should buy it." It's like,
that's what the idiots are doing, and they've been doing it for the last 10 years. They don't write good characters. They push up, oh, look, this it's slice of life, and they're gay.
Yeah.
Well, why the fuck is it a superhero character?
These guys are jumping on it because they're not good writers. First of all, the problem is they're not good writers.
No, and they're just trying to get the Hollywood gig.
Yeah,
because Hollywood is even more inclusive and diverse.
Yep.
They don't give a shit about comics. None of those guys.
Oh God, no,
dude. They're trying to get the Hollywood gig. Why would you want to write a comic book for Marvel and DC? I'm just guessing the page rate is like $100 for writing. I have no idea.
No, yeah,
it's a lot less.
Their page rates have went. I mean, everything has tanked page rate wise at Marvel and DC.
So they might only get $50 a page for those writers. So 50 times 20. So why a monthly, $1,000 a book versus writing one character on a TV show and just doing the dialogue for that character and pitching ideas to the showrunner, and the showrunner decides the plots. You come in, you drink coffee, you guys go to lunch. They rip out some dialogue, and that's it. And they're going to make $10 grand a month. I'm thinking, especially living in Hollywood, they probably make at least 10 on a TV show.
Yeah,
at the very least.
The thing is, it's like, and I mean, DC has done a bunch of this. They're always, all of these editors are trying to give writing gigs to anybody with any kind of Hollywood tie.
Because they want to be
it's not because they think this Hollywood writer is a good writer or has talent or like cares about the characters. It's a business move for the editor, because the editor wants to make connections in Hollywood. The editors of these comics at DC and Marvel don't give a shit about comic books. They don't give a shit about any of these characters. This is purely a stepping stone job for them to try and get into writing,
Anything
publishing,
else.
Hollywood, movie, script writing. All these guys are wannabe script writers. That's
yes, yeah. The moment DC moved to California, DC started dying because I was working at DC when they made the move, and I noticed just the way they dealt with me, and I was just an inker.
Yeah.
I was just an inker. I'm like, I couldn't even imagine what it must have been like for writers that were, working with the editors on a daily basis. That's because all the editors who actually stayed and went with DC, because like literally DC picked the one place to live that's more expensive than New York City.
Yeah.
So you pretty much you effed all your people that would have to move out there with with the company. Everybody who moved out there to the company immediately wanted to work for WB and didn't want to work for DC.
Oh yeah, they're all trying to get over to the TV and movie side of it. Yeah,
and they saw the writing on the wall because they changed presidents, and the president that they brought in was she was a branding manager. Yeah. So she looked at DC as merchandise and not as creative.
Yep, totally. Yeah, I think we kind of missed. I know John Delarose did an online interview with Dan DiDio, and I was hoping we would cover it, and I didn't pull it up for tonight to have it set up. But like Dan basically spelled out the reason of what's been happening the last 10 years or so is these editors. They don't read the comics. They're not into comics.
No.
He's basically saying this is a stepping stone job for them. They're not into comics. They don't know any of the history. They don't know anything about what the fans are talking about. They don't understand that there's fan sites where they talk about this stuff. So all they do is they go on social media and they look at what's pushing like at the top of social media. And social media there's a ton of, pro LGBTQ pronouns, all that stuff. Yeah. And like literally these guys are putting in the minimal effort on these jobs. They don't know any of the history of the characters, and they're just like skimming social media to see what's going on, and they're doing everything based off of that. So it's like,
and then they hire writers just like themselves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 They're coastal elites hiring other coastal elites that don't care about the history of comics, don't care about comics at all, looking at it as a stepping stone job of trying to get into a real industry like movies, TVs, script writing, that sort of thing. So they like turn their nose up at like any of the history of comics. So, and then you've got the comic pros that are still around. They're just trying to survive and not rock the boat. Like
we love comics. We love dude. If we didn't love comics, Clint, how long have you been in comics?
I got my first gig in '96, so
I'm right about the same time,
years.
95 at Marvel, and I think I was kind of bouncing around like for a year or two before Marvel, but I always use Marvel as that's when
I'm trying to think of. And it's all blurry now. I got Rob hired me for something, and I got the Justice League story, and I got a Xena story at Dark Horse, like all around the same time. I can't remember which one was the first pro gig, but they all happened kind of right around the same time. So 27 years.
If we didn't love comics, we would have left a long time ago for an office gig. I could have gone in. I could have gone into the mailroom or just sweeping floors at some company. In 20 years by now, I would have been I'd be a VP of whatever, just because I would have known so much shit about the company.
Every once in a while, I'd pick up like a part-time job on the side because like whatever publisher, like I was scraping by on like minimum negative page rates for some small press company, but I was still doing comics. Yeah. And like, oh God, I could tell you some bad page rates that I got, and I was just like cranking stuff out. but then I get a part-time job. I could have like turned that part-time job into a career and made more money. It's like, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to
If
draw
you
comics.
look at my credit rating through my career, it's things are going good. Credit rating. Things take a shit, go all the way down, and then just back and forth. Oh, I'm at DC, nice and high. No more DC. I went right from DC to Phenom, so still pretty good. And then
your career was a million times better than mine. Like I worked for some of the bigger publishers, but not for very long. Like you had nice long runs at Marvel and DC. Like I would get a gig here and there, but then it was mostly smaller public, Image, Dark Horse, that kind of stuff. And but I always scraped by and got through. But yeah, I was not getting rich by any means. So I would have a side gig.
DC was crazy because I would finish up something that was super cool, and then I'd get a royalty check, and I'm like, oh man, this is going right in the savings. Like I'd get a royalty, it's like the quarterly royalties at DC. I'd get, it'd be like a check for like $2,700. I'm like, sweet, going into savings. Almost the same time I would get that royalty check, I wouldn't hear from an editor for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So there was never like,
never stability. No,
it was always
being
like
being a freelancer in comics. There's never stability. You're always chasing after the next editor for the next gig.
And there was never savings. There's never savings. It was just like, wow.
Unless you got a contract and only the top guys got a contract. This is a great question from Ladies Man.
I had a contract.
Yep. Oh, you did?
I had a contract
and it was still that bad. Oh,
8 years. I had a contract with DC for 8 years, and still I would have to sit and wait. I'd have 3 different job offers to work on stuff at the same time, or I would be waiting 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah, and nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. If anything, it's gotten worse.
Yeah. Now people wait 6 weeks.
Yeah. And then checks don't go out on time too. So, Ladies Man, and I read about this a little bit. This is the last vestige of the big names that were at DC. And there's a reason they're doing this, because they see, like Jeff. I know Jeff was writing some stuff at DC that hasn't come out yet, but it's Jason Fabok, it's Brian Hitch, it's a bunch of other name guys. I'm forgetting his name.
And Jeff has producer money.
Francis Manipul's in there. Yeah. So and the thing is like Jeff got let go from his executive position, but Jeff's got enough. Like Jeff's been in the Hollywood side of it enough to have the right connections, I think.
Yes,
and
like
so
he's gonna be a pipeline.
I would think this is Jeff's attempt at doing what Mark Miller did a few years back with Netflix. Like those are like if you're a name guy, especially with writers, those are what those guys are looking at now. Like if you establish yourself,
and you'll get an appointment with a studio guy. Hey, what's your pitch? Bring in your pitch.
Yeah. And Jeff will get in the door for studios, just where he was, and show running that he's done on the CW shows, and executive producer on a bunch of the DC movies. So to me, this feels a lot like Jeff trying to create a Mark Miller Netflix situation. And all those artists that are going with him, like, look at the artists that Miller took with him and got all those guys movie deals, and like is still getting guys movie deals, and like that's where the money is. Like, as much as we're ripping on these editors using comics as a stepping stone, at least these guys actually love comics. The comics is still a stepping stone to the real money in Hollywood. And these guys have put in their time, so I'm not going to rip on them for going after Hollywood money. I mean, most of these guys have been drawing comics for 20 years.
And they probably want to keep working on comics.
Oh, yeah.
This will be retirement.
That's the thing is, like, they get a movie deal, they'll probably, it just probably allows them to do more of their own creator-owned personal stuff. Yeah. So I don't think I don't think any of this stuff is going to blow the doors off in sales wise at comic shops.
No, I don't.
I think this is all, it's all aimed at landing a
owning
movie
their own
deal.
properties and
Yeah.
Hollywood
IPs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's still enough out there that, you know, if it lands with the right studio, you know, they'll do something with it. But that's all I see this as like a copycat. And I'm surprised it took Jeff. The only reason it took Jeff this long is because he's been executive producing all these DC movies, and then he got basically tossed out of DC, and basically he decided. Excuse me, sorry. This was his next move, and they've probably been working on this for the last year, and now it's kind of ready to, like, oh, let's make our big announcement. We'll put out some of the books. I've got meetings with so and so and so and so. I mean, I would think within the next 6 months, like, Jeff would like to make an announcement that one of these has been optioned and it's at this studio. So that's what
if Jim was fired, Jim would be doing X-Men. He'd have a new X-Men book at Marvel. Like,
yep. Well, and I don't even know. Jim's done so well. I don't even know if Jim would care to draw. Like to me,
I think he would, just because he would wrap it up in
just
the
to prove it one more
editor-in-chief
time.
package.
Maybe just to prove it one more time. Like, I can sell whatever 500,000 million books just one more time. Go out on top at X-Men. But I think, like, the only thing that gets Jim out of his bed and drawing anything good right now is movie
covers.
stuff.
Yeah,
what's
it covers.
That?
It covers, because he can sell a cover.
Oh, and that's all he does. But it's only for movie stuff. The Suicide Squad stuff. Well, you know, like, or he wants to be on the set. So I think with James Gunn, maybe we'll see a little bit more stuff out of Jim coming up that we haven't even heard about yet, because Jim doesn't like any of the stuff that he's doing. He doesn't like people talking about that ahead of time. And I would think him and James Gunn are kind of simpatico. So I could see Jim drawing some stuff so that he can be on the movie sets, hobnobbing with the movie stars and with James Gunn.
Do you think Jim will do like 4 issues of a new Superman book for the Superman
movie? I think with Legacy, I think he'll probably do some sort of tie-in, and maybe James Gunn will write it or something,
or plot it, and someone else will script
something
it.
like that, something tied in. I think Jim would jump at that, and it'd probably be the first good Superman script that he got, because the other 2 Superman books that he drew were just god awful. He couldn't have chose worse writers for that stuff.
Yeah, dude, they were so weird.
When strange. Superman was fighting, like, what was it? The big monster made out of, like, trucks, or it was like what, excavation equipment or something. I remember that.
Was that with the weird eco-terrorist storyline or something?
It was
in
Lex
Luthor
so weird, and it was just like,
I never even read it. I just looked at the art. Yeah, it was awful.
It's like, if Jeff Johns wasn't writing it, Jim needs that type of writer. Like, that's the good thing. The thing I'll always say about Jeff Johns is Jeff Johns wrote for the artist. Jeff Johns would, like, figure out what the artist was good at, and he would write the script around what that guy wanted to draw. Whereas these other writers, they have these egos, and it's like, oh, I'll write it and Jim will just draw it. And it's like, no, give Jim something good to draw. It was so annoying.
Well, Snyder wrote some cool stuff because he did that alien who also had been hidden. The military had hidden him since, like,
that big monster alien, and that the beginning of that was cool. It was cool,
and it was they had the military, like, they had, like, Red Sun ammunition, and they had black hole cannons. Like, that's what I always thought. Like, no, don't depower Superman. Just make all his adversaries more and more powerful.
Yeah, and attack him where his weaknesses are, because he does have a few weaknesses: magic, Red Sun, kryptonite. You know.
Yeah, so I really liked how the writer set that stuff up. The worst part about it was they led up to that alien and the big invasion of his people were gonna invade Earth, and they finished it in 2 pages. They had that alien just overloaded his he just exploded. He imploded himself, and that was the end of the story.
Oh, okay.
You're like, what happened? Did Jim scheduling went to shit, and he couldn't actually draw like a double size special or something where it was all going to be battle with those aliens? I don't know what happened, but it was the biggest cop out.
Oh, that sucks. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I kind of lost track of it even by then, so I didn't even know that.
Yeah, like the big storyline just ended in a double page spread, and that was it. You're like, what the fuck you guys doing? Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, so Geiger is already out from Jeff Johns. I know that was him and what's the artist's name? Not Cam Smith. That was his inker on the Hulk.
Is it Gary Frank?
Gary Frank. That's what I was thinking of. I always liked Gary Frank's art.
Is this Gary Frank who always bitched and moaned about how John Sabal inked him, but then Gary Frank, when he inked himself more like Sabal than anybody else?
Yeah.
Because probably. He realized what sold pages.
Yep. I think
pencilers, we're all bastards.
Yeah. No, well, Gary Frank's style has changed because he kind of had that smooth when he first started on the Hulk. He was that really smooth kind of Alan Davis kind of line work.
Yeah.
And then at some point during the Superman run,
yeah,
he still had that look, but then he started throwing some like the Travis Charest hash marks on the face.
I think a lot of that was Sabal. I think that was Sabal.
Oh,
yeah, because I know how Dan DiDio, who he would put me over, and he always tried to get me to work with pencilers he thought I would make better, like Bagley and stuff, like, you know, juice it up a little bit. Yep. So I imagine he probably put Sabal over Gary Frank, you know, just a little, like he probably always looked at Frank's pencils and thought, man, if there's just a little more detail here, we can make this guy a superstar. And it did. It turned him into a superstar, but he didn't take Sabal with him. He's like, I can do this myself.
There's a thing of pencilers leaving inkers behind. I've heard it multiple times, and
Art's talked about that. You know?
Like pencilers are like, it's like, no, you're not making me better. I'm the star, and like if there's any hint of a penciler being like the inker's making you look better. It's like, yeah, that's a good way to set them off real quick. I've seen some pencilers get pissed at inkers and
Matt Ryan, a famous story. Matt Ryan on Uncanny X-Men, or it was X-Men, and he's inking Andy Kubert, and Andy Kubert takes a vacation, so Matt Ryan did finishes over his layouts on an issue, and Bob Harris made the joke. He goes, Andy, we don't even need you. Matt did an incredible job on that issue. Matt was replaced by Cam Smith. Yeah, he was replaced by Cam Smith.
Like he went and brought Cam Smith, and he's like, "Fuck that guy."
Yeah, Andy was like, he goes, "I'm looking for a new style."
Oh God, yeah, they're so thin-skinned, and I've heard many stories like that. I've seen stories like that, and it's like, dude, that was that guy's job. And he's like, they don't care.
No, dude. It's like, no, it's the first thing I've learned in comics is you can try to be a team with someone, but always priority number one is that person and their family and their shit.
Yep, keep them happy.
It doesn't matter.
It's a trickle down. It's a trickle down. It's like they're number one. And whatever you're getting is because of them. And if you ruffle any feathers,
be happy when the times are good, because if they get grumpy about something, you get fucking replaced.
Yeah, it's really, it's unfortunate, but yeah, that's absolutely 100% the way it is. Yeah, I heard the Scuttlebutt too. Randy brought up a good point here. Scuttlebutt.
How would they sell that?
Yeah. They're
Warner
talking
Brothers doesn't
about
have any wins. They don't have any wins though. Warner Brothers doesn't have any wins. Like, what the company is so far in debt. How could you make a profit selling them?
I've I've heard that they're shopping Warner to Universal is the rumor that I've heard.
Oh.
Just for the movie side of it, like
Uh-huh.
Universal would, and I don't think it'll affect the early like stuff is far enough along that the James Gunn stuff, like Superman Legacy, the early stuff wouldn't be affected.
Mhm.
But once you shift companies and shift management, James Gunn, if the rumors are true, and if Universal is really interested in buying up they'll buy up the Warner Brothers IPs because they'll want their franchises. James Gunn's run at leading the new DC universe could be really short.
Yeah. Now,
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. They might want to just continue.
from a corporate standpoint, are we talking about what things are worth for the next 20 years kind of thing? Like for Universal looking at Warner Brothers, do they just look at it and go, well, there's all the streaming shit, there's all the cable stuff, there's all the movie stuff, there's all the merchandising. Like, we can buy something that's worth negative $60 billion because we know what it's worth in 20 years?
I think everything has shifted. Like, streaming really threw everything for off its kilter. Like the money that Netflix made 10 years ago threw all these studios off. And they're still trying to catch up. And it's like, I don't think any of them know where things are. It's like just so tumultuous. And you see these studios like just changing hands. Like, you're getting like change for a 5 and you're getting a couple of 1s, and it's major movie studios that are like changing hands. Like Discovery just buying Warner Brothers, like it was, I don't know, like you're going out to get groceries. It was just like one,
but they did buy it
crazy.
with low interest rates.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Like Universal to buy Warner Brothers, the interest rates will suck because they'll have to borrow money.
The thing is that it's even a rumor right now.
Yeah,
tells you what kind of shape Warner Discovery is in. Like, that's not anything stable at all. There's no stability there. That Discovery is already second guessing its purchase of Warner and looking to see if they can pawn it off on somebody else. And bottom line wise, it might be, even at a loss, it might be worth it for them because Discovery is like, this is going to take us down. You know what I mean?
Oh, and their stock will go up just because they got rid of
it, like
an anchor.
Yeah, like they might have bought it thinking it was going to buoy things, and they're looking at the debt that they're trying to climb out of. Like they're just trying to get out of this debt to try and buoy their own stock. And yeah, it might, like, long term, it might be not even worth it for them. So, like, if Universal can get it, they might. Discovery might sell it at a loss just to get out from underwater. You know what I mean? And then it's worth it for Universal to scoop this up at a discounted price. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it shows you what all these are massive corporations, massive movie studios
with crazy deals.
And the way they're getting passed around, it's like, Jesus Christ.
Well, it's crazy when you find out something like the Addams Family is owned by the caretaker of the guy who created Addams Family. Like, all that stuff, and you find out one guy gets the money.
Oh, it's still all owned by the original family member?
No, it's the caretaker of the guy who was the caretaker who worked for the guy who created the Addams Family.
Oh,
he ended up with the rights.
He was the caretaker, and the guy who created it left it to his caretaker, and it's the whole Barbara Streisand's hairdresser having the rights to the Superman. And then whoever's got the movie rights for Batman too. It's like,
Yeah, Michael Uslan. Yeah,
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 like these guys
Uslan.
aren't like they're just they lucked into these things and have held them on with like, you know.
Oh, yeah, because you know that the movie companies, the studios probably constantly said, "Hey, Michael, uh, we won't make Batman unless you sell us the movie rights, but we'll
Yep,
pay you well." And
yep.
he's like, "No, no." Like he just, you know, that he got offered every time they want to do a movie. You know, they want to buy those rights. They don't want him to keep the
Yeah.
movie
No,
rights.
those guys will never sell the rights. Like that's
No.
just it's printing money for them, and it's the only reason they matter at all is because they
Mm-hmm.
own the movie rights to it. So yeah, like the studios would buy those rights up in a heartbeat. I can't believe those. I can't believe those rights were ever up for sale. But it shows
Isn't that?
it's like what's going on now. It's like
Mm-hmm,
people will sell stuff when they get in trouble,
mm-hmm.
and if you'll get a deal, and
Yeah,
it's
or a
like,
dead property. Because look
yeah,
at Batman was Adam West Batman
yeah,
for decades. For decades, that's all people. It was a cartoon, which they weren't making movies out of the cartoons. So
no,
the only thing people knew about the Batman, uh, unless you were buying the comics, was the Adam West TV show. So
yeah.
Batman was worthless as a movie, right?
The
Now,
Michael Keaton 1989, like that changed
mhm,
everything. I mean, it
it
got
did.
us to where we are now. It took a while to get there, but like that Michael Keaton Batman movie with Tim Burton, I mean, that changed everything. I think even more so than the Donner Superman, Chris Reeves Superman, because look how long it took to get from Chris Reeves Superman to Batman. And then
Yeah.
when both of them were that big hits, then but it still took so long
Mhm.
for these movies, the superhero movies, and now everybody bitches about it, but there was like 30 years in between some of these movies.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now, isn't Hulk? There's weird things going on with the Hulk rights because Disney owns the Hulk, but Universal owns the distribution rights.
Distribution, but I think everything now has fallen back to Disney. And
Oh, it has
it was the reason why they were holding off on these standalone Hulk movies.
because they didn't like sharing the
Yeah, it was like they're
profits.
splitting profits with Universal Distribution. So I think, as far as I know, because Submariner was part of that too, and now that's went back to Disney. So that's why
Oh,
Namor was in the Black Panther movie, and I think Hulk is back now, which is why they're now finally talking about individual like World War Hulk movie. But
who bought Submariner? Who would buy Submariner when you're looking at character
of
rights?
all,
Go,
yeah, of all the
guy with little wings on his ankles and he
and oh my
pointy ears
god,
and a flat head.
they just did such a like I
That, that was all Marvel when they were in
Eternals
bankruptcy.
Eternals and Namor are two of the characters that they tried to develop in the Marvel universe and they put a ton of money into that I still couldn't care less about. Like those just like it didn't work. It didn't work at all. So well, whatever. But
Even the miniseries for Eternals that Walter Simonson, the beginning of it was really cool, but the end was horrific.
no, really,
So like if they just ripped off most of that comic line for the movie would have been a lot better than that piece of crap that it was. Like, wait
yeah,
a minute, Thanos is supposed to be eternal, and you just told us that the Eternals are all robots.
yeah. It's
How
just
the f does that make sense?
no, that Eternals movie. I think that Eternals. I think they're gonna just do their best to just kind of forget that Eternals movie even happened.
Wait, did they say they were going to make a second one?
I would not hold my breath for there being a second Eternals.
Dude, I wouldn't hold my breath for a new Marvel Disney movie at this point.
No. Well, and I
After
mean, I've heard
after
rumors now
Marvels,
with Marvels coming out in November that like they're leaking hints that there's going to be a major, and this is what they did. This is what they did with Doctor Strange too, is they're
yeah.
hinting at all. There's going to be all these special guest appearances that you're not expecting, and it's like they're trying to get the hype built for a movie that they know is not really going to hold up to snuff. I mean, they've already put a blockade on reviews until like right before the movie comes out. So that's always a good sign that they have a lot of confidence in the movie.
Well, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, it came out that it was so expensive with all the reshoots that they did that it hasn't made any money. And that was the movie that they touted as doing well.
And this is like Bob Iger's like, you know, pulling his hair out and everything. But this is what Disney has been doing to themselves is all these reshoots, all these after things, they're dumping all because the first movies, the first generation, the 10, 15 years ago movies were making so much money and so successful. Then they got loose with the purse strings on these later movies. And then they're like, oh, we'll just fix it. We'll fix it in post. We'll reshoot this. We'll reshoot that. Dump way more money into the production. And then these movies come out and they're still kind of shitty. And they're not making nearly the money that the movies 10 years ago are making.
And they're all that's social where they engineering.
Got themselves. Yep.
Yeah. And then all the social engineering that they add into it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
America. Why? America and Scarlet Witch were the main characters in that damn Doctor Strange movie. Yeah. And everybody likes Doctor Strange. You're like, dude, you did such a good job with Doctor Strange that we actually like Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange couldn't really sell a comic book for the last 20 years.
Yeah, Doctor Strange has never been a big seller. He was way more successful in the movies than he was as a comic book character.
And they ruined that. We all like Doctor Strange's
and then the second movie, they don't even make it about him. And then in the end of it, they bring in Charlize Theron to prop him up. And it's like, how about we just focus on Doctor Strange? You know, he's pretty cool. Wow, that makes too much sense. So, but yeah, it's just more of what's been happening. It's why Comicsgate was created, is to deal with all this bullshit that's out there. Mm-hmm. And then the people that are churning out the bullshit don't want to be called out on their bullshit, so then they call Comicsgaters names, and it's like it's the emperor has no clothes. Like these SJWs writing and shitting all over the history of comic books. They don't want anybody telling anyone that they're bad writers. So they like attack. It's attack. Name call, all this bullshit. And it's like the real comic book fans are here. Yeah. Like these are the people that love comics and miss what comics used to be. So
yeah, I joined Comicsgate because I love comics, and I was like, wait, there's a whole group of us who not only love comics, will help market each other. Yeah. We'll help promote all of we'll try to do our best to promote each other's stuff.
Yeah.
Whether it's fans stuff or our stuff or whatever, sign me up. Yeah. And they call us haters and racists.
Well, that's always their go-to move because they don't really have anything else. But
those guys are assholes. They're trying to do quality work. And their fans like it.
Speaking of quality work,
dude, you're up to 16. Very nice.
Almost to 16 now. So yeah, it's been a great launch. First 30 days ends Saturday night. So we'll be 4 weeks into the campaign here, and it has been going fantastic. It's doing much better than the Superiors did. This is more in line with what Pirate Queen, Blue Bombshell, Slave Girl campaigns did. So very happy with that. Fans seem to be.
Is this just your forte, Clint? Is it big titty books is your forte? Like this?
I'm good at them. Like I can draw a lot of stuff, but I like humor. I like attractive women. I like superheroes. So I'm kind of combining all three things that I like into this. And with the Maidens of Mayhem, you're getting the best of both worlds because you're getting a superhero story with Blue Bombshell, you're getting a sci-fi story with the Pirate Queen, and you're getting a swords and sorcery story with the Sword Maidens. So it's kind of like all three of the things that I love, you know, all the things that I like to draw. Oh, Randy's yelling at me. So here, let me
Ooh,
find
did you sell a couple of
the right
copies?
screen. Are we going to crack a big number on the show here?
We gonna break 16K? Oh, it's so close! Oh, 7
What are you doing to me, Randy?
Oh, that's funny.
We're damn close though. Well, and it might just be there might be a little bit of a lag on my thing. So, but yeah.
Oh, is this gonna be? When's this shipping?
So this won't ship till the spring. Like so right now the deadline for Superiors is Superiors. I've got everything printed back here. I'm shipping it Superiors right now. The deadline or the estimated delivery date for Superiors is December 2023. So what, 3 months from now, 2 months from now. I'm shipping those books now. Like half of the Superiors has already been shipped. 320 some backers. I've shipped over 150, 160 of the books out already. So Superiors is shipping early. The arrival date for Maidens of Mayhem is June 2024. I guarantee it's shipping before then. It'll probably be shipping in my head, probably March, April, somewhere in there. But it'll be shipping before June 2024. So if you back Superiors, you're getting it now. When you back Maidens of Mayhem, you'll be getting it after the beginning of next year. So I kind of pride myself on doing these books and getting everything out. A lot of the main story is done. What I'll be working on probably in December, January is finishing up the extra stuff. So spring, I know, but look at where some of these other campaigns are. Like
hey.
I'm surprised anybody's complaining about me getting my books out. I get my books out pretty darn fast in comparison to a lot of people. So
no one's waiting 2 years.
Yeah, no, it's like I put an estimated date on when the books are going to arrive, and I usually beat that now. So
because you're a champion.
Well, I just, I want to get people their books, and I want to get moved on to the next project that I got lined up. So yeah.
Don't say that. Say it's because you care so much.
Well, that too. I care so much about like doing more books.
Making the fans happy. Making the fans happy. It's all about making.
I kind of assume that doing more books will make the fans happy. So
that's true. That's true.
So I don't even think I've gotten to like show the trailer on it. Well, maybe on Andy's. I was on Andy's show probably like a week or so ago. But let's go ahead and let's watch the trailer for Maidens of Mayhem here, because I know I haven't done a show because Rob's been death door hacking up a lot. Don't start up again, Rob. I need you, man.
God, I'm on my Chinese lungs now. So
yeah, here let's check out the Maidens.
I don't think I've seen this. I don't think I've ever seen this trailer.
Really?
Oh yeah.
The tromboner, my favorite villain. And super tits.
Oh, dude, that looks great. I love that. That looks like so much fun. You make me jealous. You're making me jealous.
I'm having a blast. And I mean, I'm just being like, basically, I say these comics are like kind of a cross between like American Pie and just that kind of dumb sophomore humor with characters like Super Tits and Thundercock, who was bitten by a radioactive rooster, the Bushwhacker, who's I've got more, and the other thing that I've been having fun doing is doing these retro covers. I don't know if you've seen any of them yet, but the retro covers have been pretty popular. I did one retro cover on the first Blue Bombshell with the tromboner on it, and like that was a big hit, and people loved that, like the old school style. So I've been doing a lot more of those just to advertise the book, and those are going to all be in the art book. So if you're looking at the tiers, and you've gotten a kick out of all these retro covers and stuff, all this stuff's going to be in the art book. It's going to have all the extras in there, and it's also going to have a brand new adult Blue Bombshell story in that too. So making all the extras in the perks fun. So that's what's going on there. Marcus Kelgrew, what's going on? Hail chat. Here,
Marcus.
Let me scroll. Let me get out of this if I can.
Ladies Man is talking shit about the variant covers. Variant covers are fun to draw. That's not what takes us forever. It's the marketing and the shipping.
Yeah.
That eats in the time that nobody thinks about. Nobody wants to think about
the shipping is what takes. The shipping is what really eats up time. Like,
and it's probably demoralizing. Like, you don't get to draw. You're not creating.
Oh, yeah.
You're packing
100%. I'll spend a whole day stuffing Gemini's.
You are
Gemini shipping packages with comics and going through stamps.com and going through all the names, and I'll get like 20, 30 packages out one day. And that'll be like 8-9 hours of just printing labels, bagging comics, putting them in Gemini mailers, labeling everything, running out to the post office. Like, yeah, like it is time consuming. It is not the fun part. The fun part is sitting. That's why I love drawing these retro covers that I'm doing right now to promote Maidens of Mayhem right now. That's the fun stuff, like drawing that stuff, drawing a big splash pinup of Titan fighting the Brute, or tomorrow preview for tomorrow. Oh, I could actually show it on here.
Let me take this. Let's show it.
I'll show a preview of what I'm going to post on Twitter tomorrow that nobody's seen yet. But
and Marcus, I'm feeling a lot better. I actually, when I lifted weights tonight, it didn't slow me down at all. So I think I'm finally back to 100%.
That's good to hear. Okay, let me share screen.
Only took like almost a month. Dude, that's when I know I'm getting old.
That's really the thing sick with the COVID is it attacks you way worse, I think, when you're older.
Hey.
Well, I'm right there, dude. What are you hating about? I'm right there with you. We're just about the same age. So
yeah, that's why when I get defensive, it's fake.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
All right, so these are some of the retro covers. Let me pull everything up here. So
I know I haven't seen the first two.
Yeah, so this is the original on the left here. This is the original retro cover that I did with the tromboner and Blue Bombshell.
Oh, that's cool.
It was like a cover like all these are cover recreations. Some of them are like kind of more homage to an actual cover. Some of them are just kind of the more 60s and 70s vibe to it. So these two covers are actually a new add-on that I did to Maidens of Mayhem. So what you can do is when you back reward, when you close out, you can add on these two issues. And what it is, it's the first Blue Bombshell book, but there was 2 stories in that Blue Bombshell book, so I broke it into 2 separate 24-page comics. So these are each full 24-page comics with these retro covers on them. So it's Blue Bombshell 1 and 2, but it basically makes up what the first book was. So that's the new add-on that I've put on for Maidens of Mayhem. But here,
Number 2 is my favorite cover so far.
The second one here?
Yeah, dude, that one's awesome. Yeah.
Well, and have you seen the Thundercock homage?
Yes, but I like the characters and just the way you drew those characters.
Yeah,
so
this is John Buscema. I'm like,
okay.
This is a cover recreation of Miss Marvel facing off against Tiger Shark. So it's a total John Buscema homage cover. Yep. So I can't take too much credit, except that I like redesigned this costume on Thundercock, and it actually turned out really cool looking. You know, it's supposed to be like just kind of ridiculous, this rooster character with the chicken on his chest and like his big flaring rooster, the things hanging, the red balls hanging under his chin.
You remember when they made all those sci-fi / superhero but with titties movies that would go direct to video, like Scorpion and stuff, Black Scorpion?
Oh, sort of. I'm not sure I saw really any of them.
I think those were in the 90s. It's like you missed your moment to be designing.
Yeah. I could have used all this stuff.
Because Black Scorpion even had its own series on Sci-Fi at one point.
Oh wow!
It lasted like 1 or 2 seasons.
Yeah, I might have missed that stuff. That probably was my calling right there.
Yeah,
so this one will be the new cover for tomorrow. So it's actually Blue Bombshell versus Pirate Queen.
Mm-hmm.
And
are you doing all those? Are you lettering this yourself too?
Oh yeah, everything there is me.
Dude, because that is cool. It's very old Marvel type.
That's what I have a blast putting these retro covers together, because like it's the comics I grew up on, and then to be able to kind of replicate that kind of old school look. And I love like these, you know, the word balloons and the big splash lettering stuff on there. It's just been kind of fun to play around with. So back to hell, you ginger whore.
Awesome.
So these are adult comics intended for an adult audience. So there is I try to make that clear. These are not comics for kids, but watch your mouth, you blue bitch, or taste the blade of a warrior born. So yeah, stuff like that. Just kind of fun. But yeah, that'll be you should have an ad and buy me a beer tier.
It always seems weird. It always seems like begging for money, right? It seems weird when people do that. Buy me a beer.
I'm just some of the money will go towards beer for me, so it's just implied. I don't need to have a specific tier for it. Yeah, like I've been on a huge Buscema kick lately. I've been looking at a lot of the it's not always Buscema, like Ross Andrew, the stuff Ross Andrew did in Spider-Man, like in his Superman stuff too. Like I've been just looking at a lot of 60s and 70s Marvel and DC stuff lately. And so like I'll go through kicks because I'm a huge Wildstorm guy. J. Scott Campbell, Jim Lee, like I'll go on a kick and I'll be just into that. And but like, just lately, for whatever reason, I've been just devouring the 60s and 70s Marvel stuff, and then regurgitating it up in these covers as pretty of a picture is that is for everybody.
SF Gaming.
Yeah, I'm stealing.
You drink
I'm
a beer,
Buscema's girls, and I'm giving them huge tits. Is what I'm doing.
Nice. SF Gaming. I'll drink with you at a bar, but I'm gonna be drinking a rum and diet. I don't drink beer, So
Oh yeah, no, and then I mean I'm not a huge beer drinker, but I like beer too. So I'm not choosy. I'm not choosy as long as it's cold.
yeah, cat just knocked something over. That
Oh
would be the
yeah.
light that doesn't work. That's why I don't have all the fun colors right now. Just
Oh yeah.
one of my
Well,
that's
I
what
suppose you had to unhook everything and.
I unhooked stuff and then turned my computer off by accident, and that's why we came in late because I was
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to get my light to work. So that's what
Yeah.
happens when you get sick for a month. Shit just falls apart. Stuff
Oh
you
yeah.
didn't even have
Everything goes to hell.
power.
Yeah, and that is actually
Yeah.
a good idea, Randy, for mini prints there. So speaking of comics that we all love and we should all be backing. Let me.
What are you talking about, dude? I own all the comics I love.
I know you do, but you also make some. You make
Oh, I
some of
made
the
a comic?
comics.
Oh, well, I haven't made it yet. I'm still working on this.
What's going? Let's see if I can click any of the right buttons. Every time the old pontificators, I'll never
Pick on
hassle Art
them.
again when he's looking around for buttons. Well, and I think I've seen just about everybody do it because it's like you're trying to talk and keep the conversation going, but then you have to stare at a screen and find something, and it's
When
so
I was
somebody busted 20,000.
I know. When I was clinging to my bucket and coughing and gagging into a bucket, all I was thinking about was all my backers and Death Raider and finishing it for everybody. So
Yeah, no, I have no, I don't doubt that for 1 second. I saw you post that you were upset with how sick you had gotten because it was slowing down your progress
yeah.
on Death Raider.
And to be honest, it's I am behind anyways. I expected Death Raider to be a little bigger out of the gate, so I had to take on other work during the
Oh yeah,
summer
and I
to
mean that's
cover
just
bills.
yeah.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I would have loved to have shipped. I think I originally wanted to ship in October. Obviously, that's not going to happen. But now I just show everybody my pages as I finish them, and my cat's eating cardboard next to me.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody can be patient and dig the artwork as I put it out. Right now, I'm trying to finish the last of the marker, so then it'll just be as I finish pages. I'm going to be I'll be scanning them and showing them off to people. I actually I just mentioned to Clint how I'm jealous of all the hot chick stuff because I was working on a big sequence with Psy, who's the half naked cyborg fighting Death Raider, and the big towards like the end of the book scene. Like that's all I'm working on now is like the last few pages of
Okay.
the book. And to be honest, I'm trying not to add pages, but I think I've already created some pages that weren't originally in the book, so I'll have to pull some pages out of the beginning of the book. So I'm doing what everybody has told me I shouldn't, but
sometimes that's just the way it goes. Like the project kind of morphs as you.
It does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the freedom when you're writing it yourself to kind of like kind of pick and
change
choose.
stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Change it. Yeah.
And part of it is the pacing. Part of it is I looked at the pacing as I was developing the book and going for my outline and just was like, there's a difference between when you create an outline and you assign so many pages to a sequence and then you realize that sequence isn't as important or that action scene isn't as important as I originally thought because later in the book the art's my art is improved and even my storytelling is improved, so I'm like, wait a minute, why am I gonna so that's been part
and
of it too.
it's easier to see that as you're like creating it and like you see each of the pages. So like as a writer artist, like when you're working on something, it's definitely different than working as an artist with a different writer. You know what I mean? Like there's way more flexibility and like you can definitely change stuff as you're going along because you see the importance, you see where the story is heading. So yeah, that's definitely a different aspect of that. But yeah, I'm glad to see this at 20,000, over 20,000, and kind of keep everything rolling with everybody. Appreciate everybody like Randy and Marcus and everybody posting this stuff on Twitter and sharing all of our posts and everything. Like, that is a massive help to our campaigns to get the,
thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, no, everybody that's doing that, man, we appreciate it so much.
And everybody loves this cover. And this, for my own detriment, this is what I base all my artwork on.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Every time, all my new artwork, I'm trying to live up to that cover.
Like, I saw this cover and I'm like, I would not want to have to draw that character in multiple panels on a page.
Well, no, thankfully he does have a cape, so I can cover some stuff up. And so a bunch of those hoses he doesn't take with him. Those are just hoses for his charging station. So.
The cloak comes in handy later as you draw the character more. Because that would be absolutely brutal, like, to draw that multiple times. Like, I have just simple superhero costumes, and I'll draw a character multiple times. I'll be like, oh god, yeah, I drew his costume off. Like, I remember Rob Liefeld used to get like hashed on a lot about that, but then I did it a few times. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. It's hard to remember like each little specific line that's supposed to be on this costume or that, and when you're cranking through to hit your deadlines, you'll make a mistake here or there.
I have noticed I changed Anna's hairstyle to something I like more, but you got to be honest, there's a lot of women who change their hairstyles all the fucking time. Exactly. So that's how I just, in the story, that's how I explained it. I cheated a little bit. She just changing her look a little. So I might go to C2E2. I was actually supposed to go to C2E2 last year. My boss at the time with Phenom was going to fly me out, and then he changed his mind literally at the last minute. If I go this year, it's all going to depend on if I finish Death Raider or not. If I'm still working, or if I'm shipping Death Raider around those same months, because to be honest, if I'm going to do C2E2, one, I would have to make a decision right now about the table.
Oh yeah.
If I can even get a table at this point, and same with the plane ticket. So I would have to be making decisions right now.
Because it's in the spring, right?
Yeah. Isn't it March?
Yeah, that seems.
Yeah, I think it's March. So as of right now, I'm not going. But I know that John Mallon and
that's the big one that EVS and Malin are going to do, right? I think I heard them talk about it.
So I thought about going just because of that.
Yeah, they want to have a big Comicsgate contingency there, I think, is the plan or the idea. So no, that would be really cool. I haven't, it's been a while since I've gone to a major con, but like, if I was going to get serious about going to one again, that's probably the one I would be thinking about, just because of that reason. So it would be definitely cool to be out there. Marcus just posted about Aaron Lopresti just launched his Kit Carter Planet Doom graphic novel, which looks so freaking amazing. But it sounds like it's gotten shadow banned on IGG already, which I don't even understand how that happens once you've launched.
I don't
like when I launched Superiors, it was immediately shadow banned. It did not show up on the comics page. And actually, I created the new account to launch Maidens of Mayhem to avoid that.
Yeah.
It is searchable, but Maidens of Mayhem still doesn't show up on the comics page just on its own. You have to search for it, but you can search for it. Whereas with Superiors, even when you searched, it wouldn't show up. So I do not know what's going with Indiegogo, man. It's just, it's absolutely crazy. The one good thing is, because we're Comicsgate, like, I just use Indiegogo as the platform. Like, I don't expect any promotion from Indiegogo. I do all the promotion myself through Comicsgate, through Twitter, through my mailing list. And that's kind of just where I've been at because, yeah, Indiegogo, and you can't get a hold of anybody for customer support. So
Yeah, exactly. Which is, that's the new thing with all the new tech companies. They don't want to actually
no,
hire anybody to actually answer phone calls.
no, they don't want to. They don't want to talk to you about problems with their site. They just want you to. They want to get their percentage of your profits and then leave them the hell alone.
And ladies, man, conventions are expensive. A table's $300.
Oh
Plane
yeah,
ticket is expensive. I honestly, I can be straightforward with you. I don't have the cash for a table or a plane
yeah.
ticket. You know
Like,
what I make is either goes for the setup for the printing and stuff for Death Raider, or it's just to pay normal bills and stuff. So
yeah,
I don't have a car payment. I drive a 2005 Saturn. So
like
you
I.
know, yeah, Tampa wouldn't give me a table. They wouldn't give me a table, and I've gone to Tampa many years. So
If I go to C2E2, it'll probably be just to have fun. I probably wouldn't get a table. I had a table at C2E2 probably 8 years ago now, something like that, 7, 8 years ago. And I took a bath on that and sold
oh
and
jeez,
didn't sell hardly anything. And it was expensive between the hotel room, the table, travel. Yeah, like I would really actually love to talk to somebody who like goes to cons regularly. Like some of these guys, they go to cons and they make money, and I would just like to hear their process, like what they
Ethan
like,
is not paying for us to go to C2E2.
what's that?
So, ladies, man just made a joke. He says, "Get Ethan to pay for your hotel and flight."
Yeah, no, Ethan's a
No,
there's a
Ethan's a great
select
guy,
few.
but
There's just a select few, and they're not on this channel.
no. Um, uh, when you make a lot of money, I don't know this, but when you make a lot of money, um, the way you keep it is you don't just
Yeah.
start buying people plane
And,
tickets.
and see, like Marcus, yeah, like Bud Root is somebody that I would love to talk to. And I don't know if it's like selling original sketches or like having prints, but I would love to, like, I know Marat Michaels does like a lot of conventions. He's
Yes.
another one, like, if I ever got a chance to just bend his ear a little bit, because some of these guys, like, they'll do at least one comic book convention a month, and they're not doing it to lose money. They're doing it because they're making money at these shows.
Well,
But I haven't
Merritt has
done.
all those poo books.
Yeah, those poo.
He has those
Yeah,
weird
but
variant
I
poo
don't
books,
understand it.
doll
But those
style.
make him money. I
Yes,
didn't. I did not know there was an audience for like Winnie the Pooh comics as him as different characters. But
yeah, his parody poo thing. And a couple of friends of mine who do lots and lots of cons, what they do is they do the pre-commission list, and
yeah,
that the stuff that they do before they ever show up at the convention. Usually that covers the con. That covers their flight, their table, their hotel.
so that they have like they're like posting on Instagram or something and showing
Mm-hmm,
commissions, and then
mm-hmm.
they have
And
people
then
that
they
are
take
buying
on more
convention
commissions at the con, which
buying
helps
the
them.
commission ahead of time so they get the money and then giving them the commission at the convention.
Yeah, and then any
Oh,
commissions that they line up while they're at the con, that's the money they
oh, and then
actually
they
make
send those
during.
after the show is over through the mail.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So that's how they do it. But I couldn't do that because I'm working on Death Raider anyways.
Well, and that's
Can
the
you imagine
thing.
me taking on commissions for a con while
Yeah.
everybody's waiting for Death Raider?
Yeah,
People be
that's
like,
the thing is
"Hey
like you're
man, what the
taking on
fuck?"
10 commissions. How long is it taking you to do a good job? I mean, granted, if you're making your money off the commissions, that's fine. But like, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm crowdfunding. I can't take like a week off to try and draw 10 commissions for people and then not work on my crowdfunding book. So
yeah.
yeah, it's kind of it's a double-edged sword. And I mean, quite frankly, I'm better off sitting at home and getting my books out and then hitting the occasional convention, but having it be more to hang out with, CGers, other creators and stuff like that. So The optics are high.
Well, I might add a sketch tier for Death Raider when Death Raider goes to fund my comic.
Yeah.
So even
And
that, I'm going to feel a little guilty doing that because then I'm not working on Death Raider pages. I'm working on people's commissions.
And the thing is sketches, like I offer original sketches in the booty box tier. And sitting in, like, I'll get a lot of backers for that tier. And this time with Maidens of Mayhem, you're getting 2 sketches, 2 adult sketches, 1 a Blue Bombshell, 1 of the new character Super Tits, original art sketches from me. That's a lot of sketches to draw. and that takes time too. That takes days, if not a week, to draw all that stuff. So yeah, that's the thing, is it's all about managing your time and then like maximizing your time too. Like,
yes, and I know at cons I can't draw. For me to do
drawing live at a table is rough.
No, I can't do Death Raider quality at a table at a convention. I have a light about a foot and a half above my freaking head.
Yeah,
or actually, it's like 6 inches above my head when I'm working.
What you'd be getting from me drawing something for you at a convention is much different than what you'd be getting from me drawing a commission for you at home at my own desk. Yeah, the people that can sit there and draw, like the Adam Hugheses of the world, that can sit and draw like just masterpieces, sitting at their table while they're talking to all the fans. Like, I see some of these guys and I'm like, wow, that's it's focus. I'm blown away by it. But yeah,
Ladies Man is busting our balls because he goes, "You guys got plenty of time to sketch between now and spring." Clint is drawing. He's got to finish Mayhem, and I gotta fucking finish Death Raider. I can't be sketching. Are you crazy? And I'll be honest. If I'm not at the table, I don't draw. Honestly, when I'm at my table, I work. When I'm not at my table, I don't work. I don't sketch in my lap while I'm watching TV with my wife. I don't, when I'm working, I'm drawing. Yeah. And when I'm not
the other thing
drawing, I'm not working.
The other thing is when you travel to these cons and then you're sitting at your table and you're like selling stuff and you're doing sketches the whole time, you see nothing. You don't talk to anybody except people come to your table. Mm-hmm. It's like sometimes I want to walk around the convention. I want to see stuff. I want to like see artists that like I like. I want to, I want to have the full convention experience. And when you're there, when you're working, like it's a job too. So yeah, I don't see me doing it. Like I'll go to the occasional convention, but I don't see me doing like a lot of conventions. Like, yeah, C2E2 is probably the one I would look at because of EBS, because of Malin and doing that thing. And I would just want to, that's going to bring a lot of comic skaters in, and I'm going to want to just go hang, And,
because you want to be able to talk to the people. I've noticed the guys who do a lot of sketching, they can't talk to you.
Yeah, and it's not like if I got a table, like I wouldn't. I'd be like wherever, and I wouldn't be in like the mix with Malin and EVS or whatever. And you kind of want to be like hanging out with everybody, and you don't want to miss anything. So, yeah, if I do C2E2, I think it'll be more just as a fan to hang out with Comic Skate and. Just have a good time, really. So
when Death Raider's going to the printer, I'll be working on Death Raider 2. There will be no sketching. I already, especially the way I've flipped pages around and how I've sacrificed pages already.
Yeah,
I already know what the next issue is.
Well, and that's the
next issue outlined. So.
That's the thing, is you're going to have it so much more locked down about what you need to do and where you're focused and like what you want to get done ahead of time after having gone through the campaign. Getting the first campaign out of the way and like figuring out what works and what doesn't work is a massive thing. And
yes. The next Death Raider, like you've said, it'll be finished artwork, lettered, colored.
You'll have it way more dialed
on the
in.
campaign.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll
Yep.
make a massive difference for you. So yeah, that'll be cool.
And if it doesn't, you'll never see me again. No.
Well, we got or that hacking cop.
Yeah, no,
We got one more story here. Let me.
My head will slump into a bucket, and that'll be the end of it. Rob couldn't make it through COVID the third time. The third time COVID killed him.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like we're just gonna keep getting it the way it's going around.
I know.
I'm hoping it just
get
becomes
weaker.
more of like the cold and flu season kind of. It's like
weaker.
Yeah. So this is the other big story that kind of I don't know. I think it popped today. Really, is the DC's chief.
Oh, yeah.
Like I don't know if she was president or whatever, but like this is the lady that was running DC Comics, and she has stepped down. Warner Brothers.
This is the biatch. This is the biatch when no more foreign royalties.
Oh, she did that too.
Mm-hmm. Well, she could have been in charge of dealing with that, and they've already because that's when they switched. They switched from DC being creative and DC being a brand and put in the same department as merchandise.
Yeah, so that's when we lost she was like royalties. A brand. She was like a brand manager at Disney before this, and got fired. Mm-hmm. It sounds like basically, and then sued Disney, and then Warner Brothers was smart enough to hire her after she sued the last company that she worked for.
Yeah, so she screwed over all of the talent. So I lost my foreign royalties.
Yeah.
And got digital sales royalties once.
Yeah. So at least this time around, it sounds like she's stepping down. But
she got fired.
Yeah, Warner Brothers has been downsizing massively.
Yeah.
And this is just another example of that. There's one other here. I think Bleeding Cool's got the story too. But yeah, it doesn't sound like from the other story that I had of her, it doesn't sound like she was well liked at DC at all, and that a lot of DC personnel is pretty happy that she's moving on or was let go. So Pamela Lifford resigns as DC Comics big boss. So she was like Jim is CEO or COO or whatever. So I don't know what her official title was. As her role at Warner Brothers, president of global brands, franchises, and experiences, saw her oversee all of DC Comics business, as well as worldwide consumer products, themed event entertainment, and franchise management. So yeah, she was basically overseeing, and DC Comics was just one part of what she was overseeing. But yeah, she got shown the door from the looks of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bleeding Cool works.
She was probably she was part of that big push for inclusivity and diversity too.
So. Well, and she's the one that put the kibosh on Vertigo and the Black Label, and she it sounds like she was, if not part of getting Dan DiDio out of there, she was. Yeah, this website doesn't work. Bleeding Cool sucks. All right, we'll just get rid of that.
I'm always amazed by some websites, like some podcasts and stuff, and you go to their website and you're like,
oh yeah, and it's about a bazillion pop-ups or whatever. But
or it hasn't been updated in 10 years.
Yeah, but this just goes to show it's still musical chairs over there. It's still people are getting big name people are getting let go left and right at Warner's. Nothing is stable at DC Comics.
No. And I heard they're sharing desks. So editorial.
Oh yeah, they're in free fall. Yeah, they got into the shared workspace thing. So now that's where I think Jim might put his foot down, is if he has to share a desk with somebody. I've got a sneaking suspicion that Jim probably still has his own office.
Oh, I am I won't be surprised if Jim has a contract for what he does and doesn't get. Like it's
Oh
not a
yeah,
contract
no.
about salary and golden parachute.
I
Uh,
would think Jim's got all that stuff locked in because he's kind
yeah.
of he's not one to leave it to happenstance and kind of. But
No,
yeah,
he
if all
is
of a sudden
corporate savvy.
If Jim has to share an office, it's probably editors and assistant editors are like sharing office space, and Jim's probably
Mhm.
still got a pretty plush solo office there, I would think. So
Oh, you know it, dude.
yeah,
Well, he's Jim Lee. He deserves it.
well,
It's
yeah,
too bad that he couldn't use his genius to actually make DC Comics better. He
I
just
think
doesn't do that.
I think he's just beyond the point of wanting to put that effort in. Like it just very much seems from the outside that he's just riding it out. He's got a good contract. He's still collecting.
Yes,
Yep, he's still
yes.
collecting his checks, and
Jim probably learned. Jim, if you speak up and you take control of this stuff, and books do not do better,
yeah,
they will fire you. If you keep your mouth shut, nod your head, and then go back to your office and draw whatever Superman cover you have to work
yep,
on, you will keep getting paid for the next 10 years.
yeah,
Now, I'd be the asshole going, hey, whoa, this stuff is shit. And
yeah,
people would be like, excuse me? And I would be gone in 6 months, and I would
yeah.
be on Rich Johnson's website, and I'd be like, hey, I tried, guys. That literally would be the interview. I tried.
And the thing is, the people that matter at Warner Brothers, like the people above Jim,
Yeah.
they don't give a shit what the comic book sales are.
No,
They
no.
don't.
They're
They don't.
just, what's
Yep.
the loss?
Yep.
Did we lose money? How much did we lose?
Yeah. Like their sales could be. Their sales are garbage now, and I guarantee you, no executive at Warner Brothers cares that their sales are garbage.
If DC loses $10 million a year, but merchandising for DC characters makes $100 million a year, that's fine. It's when the DC losses in the comic books start to eat into the merchandising revenue. If they're like, whoa, comics lost us 50 million in merchandise only made us 75 million. So that's only a 25
the
million
other
positive.
part of it is if they were getting ESG money, which might be drying up now, but if they were getting that ESG money by putting out whatever, characters that were,
and
socially
hires.
aware, like then that was probably like, oh, the executives are like, oh, way to go, guys. You helped us out with the our ESG score, and that was probably more important than any sales numbers. They got more. They got more money for the ESG score than they got for the sales numbers of the comics. Hence, what's happened with Marvel and DC over the last 6 to 8 years. Like literally, that's a big part of it. But ESG seems like it's drying up now. Like
because they didn't.
Investors
the
are like
funds
pulling their
didn't actually make money.
Oh, it didn't make money. Investors are pulling their money out of that because it was like, it was socialism and communism like snuck under a blanket of capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
They tried to like work their way around capitalism and stuff that actually sells and makes money to try and get a little bit of commie dollars in there, and that always fails in the long run.
Yeah, and Biden is too busy starting up new wars, so he's not going to help with those ESG. No, well, they were ladies, man.
Biden asked, "Where's the money?" They were getting a little too close to finding out where the money was. I think his brother is paid back his loan to Biden, which just happened to be the same amount of money that he got from Burisma, the Ukrainian energy company. He got paid $200,000 one week and then repaid his loan to Sleepy Joe for $200,000 the next week.
Well,
coincidence? I think
net worth is quadrupled since he became president. So that just tells you. That just tells you. And ladies, man, we know you're busting on us because you care. Everybody has great ideas and throws great ideas at us. And any ideas that we think we can implement, we try to implement. And ideas we know we can't, we would just rather tell you straight, we're not face to face, but I'd rather just tell you on a live stream, like, dude, that's a great idea. I know I can't draw at a convention unless you want shitty drawings. So, I always try to be super positive, and well, I'm not super positive, but I always try to be super honest with everybody about what things are.
Well, and to
what we
me,
can and
like,
can't do.
I've never been like the bigger the convention. I'm not a big name guy. I don't work on a Marvel. If you're at a con and you work on a Marvel or DC comic and you're a name guy, then yeah, that's one thing. When you're not one of those guys, you're not going to make a ton of money at a convention. So if I'm going to a big convention like C2E2, I'm going there for the fun. I'm like,
yes,
I'm not going there to try and make money.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get a table and I'm not going to do commissions all weekend. I'm going to go there to hang out, enjoy the convention, see the creators that I either know or that I'm a big fan of, hang out with people that I haven't seen in a while, that kind of thing. And then hang out with Comicsgate, really. So that's of...
Yeah, and ladies, man, you act like it's choice. You act like I have the ability to draw amazing drawings at a convention while people are talking to me. Dude, honestly, if I had like my wife, she has fantastic focus. If I had her focus, I would be sitting next to Jim Lee right now at DC making tons of money doing nothing. I don't have that focus, dude. I honestly, you put me in a convention with all the lights and all the people walking by. Attention disorder. I've never been labeled that, but I probably have that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, we just know our weaknesses. We know it's been 30 years. We know our strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. And mine focus is it's a strength when people leave me alone and I can sit at a table and I forget what time it is or what day it is. That's a great focus. But if people are bugging the shit out of me, then I'm not at the table and I'm not working. And I love talking to people about comics at conventions. So I can't.
You can do one. You can do one or the other, but not both together.
Yeah, honestly, I can. That's why I just sell prints and I sell artwork.
Yeah, and that's also if you can make the money to cover your costs, selling prints and selling books, then yeah, for sure. But it's a risky venture because you can get in a hole real fast. Conventions ain't cheap.
No, and it's been a lot of years since I worked at DC. Yeah. So people look at me and go, Rob Hunter, why does that name sound familiar? That's why I won't be doing any convention until Death Rider comes out, because the last two books I worked on, almost no one saw. Hunter Ninja Bear for Phenom. The boss is just not marketing those books. And the other one is I inked Scott McDaniel on Star Riders. And the boss really, I don't know what happened, but he really didn't push that at all on live streaming and YouTube and stuff. So, my last DC book was 6 years ago.
Was the Scott McDaniel book? Has that come out already?
Yeah, it's come out twice. They've had two different campaigns. I, for one, couldn't push it really hard because I was afraid if I'm pushing Star Riders, people think I'm working on Star Riders at the same time as Death Raider.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I finished Star Riders like 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Oh, okay. And they crowdfunded it?
They crowdfunded it this summer, and they crowdfunded it this in the spring too. They had two small campaigns for
crowdfunding's tricky. Crowdfunding's tricky. There's a lot of people that do it, and there's a lot more legwork involved than just throwing it out there and thinking that everybody's going to come running for it.
No. It's a lot of hard work, and
there's a lot of people that go into it blind. Yeah.
He kind of drew his line on what he wanted to do and what he wouldn't want to do.
Yeah.
And I go, well, we're not going to be able to crowdfund it really well then. And he goes, okay. Yeah. So.
Yeah, because there's guys that'll get pros to work on their crowdfunding, and they're paying those page rates and stuff. But then, if they don't know how to promote the books quite right, they're kind of left hanging holding the bag there.
Yeah. Yep. So things are complicated. Yeah. See, Randy bought Hunter Ninja Bear, So
I
that's
never
awesome.
even
Well,
have heard of Hunter Ninja
uh,
Bear. We do the show
Chuck
together.
Chuck Dixon wrote it. Mel Ruby penciled it. I inked it.
Oh wow, that's
Ivan
a hell of a
Nunez colored it.
creative team.
Dude, it's like 300
Oh,
and some pages.
holy
The book is
shit! Chuck
awesome.
Dixon, Mel Ruby, and you.
And
Oh wow.
the boss pushed it once.
Oh wow.
We did some live streams. Ethan
So is
talked
this
about it.
the guy who created it? This was kind of his dream project, and then he just wanted to hire like a
Yeah.
bunch of really good pros to create make it for him.
Yeah, two brothers. They wrote it. They kind of wrote it as like a kind of a researchy movie script kind of thing.
Okay.
And I was hired to ink it and help make the comic book company a comic book company.
Yeah.
So I read it and said, dude, this would be perfect with Chuck Dixon. Let's send this to Chuck Dixon.
Oh,
And
okay.
it was kind of funny because Chuck sent my boss an email. He goes, what do you want me to do with this? Because there's so much material and it's the way it was formatted.
Sure. Yep.
And my boss kind of took it a little like, what's he mean? What's he want to do with it? And I said, Tom, 12-issue miniseries. Tell him a 12-issue miniseries. And he goes, 12-issue miniseries, Chuck. And Chuck goes, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So, and away we went with
the 12-issue
miniseries.
You understand the business. And
I understand comics. Yeah.
And you can make it clear because that's what he's asking is like.
Yeah, I always like to go between a couple engineers and Chuck Dixon, the comic book guy. And I'm in the middle, jumping back and forth explaining
guys
stuff.
that are excited and want to do their own comic but don't maybe necessarily have all the like background of like what goes into creating it. So like having somebody that can like spell it out like that, that's very beneficial.
So we put together several really cool comic projects, but I think the longer things went on, the less as the market changed and as the comic book landscape changed, I think the boss just said he didn't, he wasn't interested in doing a lot of the media, YouTube marketing type of stuff. And honestly, that's why I'm doing Death Raider because I thought I would retire with that company. I'm like, this would be great. I get to help build a comic book company and I get to ink and work on comic books. This is great. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I haven't seen a page in the ink in a year. I don't get paid unless I'm inking. So. And the whole time I was working on my own pencils though, because I had a feeling every phone conversation was a little different than it was in the beginning. So oh my God, I got to get Death Raider going.
I've worked for companies like that. Like I know exactly what you're kind of talking about is like people that want to put out their comics. They've got their own ideas and they want to work with pros and it's a good gig, but then it's
the more money that gets spent, it's exact proportion to how much their attention for the project goes lower.
Yeah.
More money gets spent, the less they want to work on the project.
Yeah. It's a weird dynamic, but I know the kind of setup you're talking about. I've worked on those type of books before, and they're fun and it's good paychecks. But sometimes you can tell when they start to meander off into oblivion. It's like
I think really bothered my boss was he really wanted to work with some of the top tier pencilers to do his projects, and he was bummed. He really was heartbroken by the fact that even if he could pay their page rate or even a little more to try to get them out from Marvel or DC, I had to convince him that I had to tell him like, you're not competing with their page rate. It's also what they sell the pages for.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to sell our pages, Phenom pages, for the same
a
Wolverine splash.
You can afford their page rate at Marvel or DC, but they're working on Spider-Man or Wolverine or Batman.
And they're making even more money.
Yep, and then they're reselling that original artwork for probably
3 times.
Way more, 3 times easy what their page rate is.
Yeah, so even if they have a great page rate, they're making 3 to 4 times that selling their artwork.
Yep, and that's where like the difference is because it's like they make more of their money off of that original art. So
the guy that did Batman White or whatever the fuck it was.
Mm-hmm.
He said that 75% of his income was from art sales.
Oh yeah, most of these guys.
And you know he has a great page rate, and you look at his stuff and you know that he rips that out super fast. What's his name? Sean? Is it Sean?
Oh, Sean Gordon Murphy.
Yeah, Sean Gordon Murphy. Yeah. In a podcast, he's like, yeah, he goes, 75%
Oh yeah,
of my income is artwork.
I've looked at his online site, and I mean, he's got pages on there for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and there's some of them are sold. So it's like,
and they're rough. They're rough, and then he had Zipatone to tighten it. I noticed that. I'm like, oh, that guy's got a smart style.
Yeah, he's he's figured something out that worked, and he's marketed himself very well. And now he's pretty much, it sounds like he's pretty much left DZ, and he's doing the Zorro book crowdfunding. And he's kind of said, why would I work for corporate things when I can go crowdfund? And so that kind of seems, and there's another major, like, I don't know who the big name guys are at DC anymore. Like I think Ivan Rice is probably still there, and
yes,
Jimenez, Jorge Jimenez is probably still a big name there.
I know Ivan. Even if Ivan took a step back, he's got a studio of guys doing their version of Ivan. So they're doing a bunch of any of the DC books that actually look good. It's probably Ivan, or it's the guys that work for Ivan.
One of his studio guys, sure, yep.
Yeah, because they do very tight, very dynamic figure work.
Yeah. So. I think Ivan looks a lot like Alan Davis.
Dude, Andy got him hired at CrossGen because he said, hey, this guy's doing his version of Alan Davis. He had to convince CrossGen to hire Ivan back in the day.
Okay.
And now Ivan's a superstar. Ivan owes Andy a 10% check. I don't think you'd appreciate that, though. Oh, so what's this? Is this Clint? What's Brian talking about?
Clint, I'm excited to read this collection. I'm glad Mandy let me know you were around doing stuff like this.
Oh.
Just the Maidens of Mayhem stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, very cool. Yeah. Yeah. Maidens of Mayhem is going to be 60 pages, 3 full stories, 1 featuring Pirate Queen, 1 featuring Blue Bombshell, and another featuring the Sword Maiden. So yeah, check it out. The first 30 days end Saturday. So we'll see. I'm trying to set up a closeout or be on a closeout show for Saturday night. I'll let everybody know on Twitter if that happens. Yep. Oh, yep. Maidens of Mayhem. Yep. So that's awesome that Mandy let you know about that.
Last I heard, the art director quit. So they probably just hired some editor who. Well,
I know that Chiarello got fired with that last round of layoffs, I think.
Oh, so he was getting a decent salary if he got fired.
Yeah.
So some assistant editor probably took the job because they
might not even have an art director.
Yeah. Yeah. What for?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
They got Jim Lee. They don't need an art director.
Yeah, Jim Lee's picking up extra work, making sure he's art directing everything.
Jim Lee's like, could you imagine bringing in some of those fucking shit sketches from those foreign guys? Jim's looking at going, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, whatever. That's good.
He doesn't even look up from his table. No. Yeah, that's great.
Is he hitting his deadlines? Yep. Okay, he's fine.
Gay Lantern who? Sure. Yep. Looks good to me.
Maidens of Mayhem will be extending this weekend. So if you can't back it this weekend, I like to, let everybody know. But it will be extending, so there is more time. So, but yeah, I like to get that big push because you get the big boost at the end of your 30 days, and you get that other big boost at the end of your 60 days. So that really, really does significantly help.
Is that what SF Gaming asked? Is he asking if it's going to be in demand after the 60 days?
Yeah. Yeah.
Will it? Or you haven't decided? Yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, I won't say 100%. We'll see how it does, but yeah, I'll usually keep it open until the books are like close to being ready to ship. So.
Okay. Yeah.
But
makes
even
sense.
so, back at this weekend.
Yes.
Because
Yes. We got to get a
literally,
big push. Big push.
yeah, literally, the better the book does up front, it helps it throughout the campaign. That's why you really want to have like that big opening weekend, because it gets more eyes on the project. Like, I understand some people are going to wait till the end, and that's just, that's fine too. I want those backers that wait till the end. But the earlier you can back the project, the earlier you can jump on, the bigger the project gets, the more momentum it gets, the more successful it gets. So earlier is always better than later, but I'll take any and all backers I can get. But yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, if Death Raider hit 20K in the first 2 weeks,
yeah.
it probably would have shipped at the end of the summer, because I wouldn't have had to work on anything else. I would have just worked
exactly.
on Death Raider
It just frees you up. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So it would have saved me from COVID too. I would have been finished with Death Raider before COVID got me again. If you guys don't hear from me, that means COVID got
you
me.
got COVID for the third time.
I couldn't fight it off. It'll be I'll be in the hospital and I'll have the whole, and I'll be like,
we'll live stream from you in the hospital. You'll have a mask
Clint was
on.
shared on Twitter.
You'll probably sound just as clear as you do half the time anyway.
Hey,
back Death Raider.
Oh, and the last week, or not my internet went to shit too. The new internet that was supposed to be better. So I didn't even do King's Monday like I was.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So this really has been a month since I've been online talking to people.
It knocked you out of the routine, out of the. But you're back now, back better than ever. So we're glad to have you. So,
Clint's tearing up. He
thought
he lost me.
Oh,
Rob's gone. He's gone. Thank God he pulled through.
Yeah.
With his lifestyle, I'm shocked he made it.
Yeah, well, that's true.
What lifestyle?
See, yeah, great impersonation. So I've got Rob down already. Well, now you just froze.
I'm free. I froze. You froze. Uh-oh.
This is on there. There we go. We're back.
Wait,
that might be a sign to wrap it up, because my internet. You're frozen. I'm back.
No. You're frozen.
Okay, now you're moving.
Okay.
Am I frozen?
Yeah, you froze.
Am I moving now?
It could be both. It'd be funny if it's both our internets are dying at the same time.
It might be.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna pull the pin here either way, because we're froze mid cough. Marcus says so.
Okay.
That might be as good a sign to wrap it up for the night, anyways. But we are back. We'll try and be back next week. We'll get this thing back on track. Thanks to the chat. Thanks to everybody for being here tonight. It is always awesome that you guys are here. If you're watching this on the replay, make sure to smash the like button. And if you're not a subscriber, make sure to subscribe. Try and build up the channel. Glad to have Rob back. Go check out Death Raider on Indiegogo in demand right now if you haven't checked it out. And then Maidens of Mayhem is live right now on Indiegogo. That's my book. Go check that out too. The links are in the description below. And I think that's all we got. You got anything for him, Rob, before we cut out here?
I missed everybody.
Yeah.
I missed everybody. I missed people busting my balls and asking me questions and saying why I'm not doing shit or why I am doing shit. I to be honest, I love that, man. Dude, come on, man. If we didn't love comics, we'd be working on something else.
No, that's why everybody's here, man. We all love comics, and we love
books.
Yep. We're all fans of each other and fans of the media.
And big titties. I love big titties in comics. And we know Clint does.
Yeah, well, I do, and I like to give everybody what they want. So no, it's always hard to figure out which way you're supposed to point.
I know. I've got a little
Everything's
bit of
reversed.
dyslexia. I'll just do
Yes.
this. And we know Clint loves big titties.
All right, everybody. You guys have a great night. Check out Maidens of Mayhem. Check out Death Raider. And we will talk to you soon. Hail Comicsgate. Hail the chat. Good night, everybody.